Welcome back everyone to our career mode series of NASCAR Heat 4. So now's where things really start to get interesting, and I want to spend quite a bit of time in today's video talking about that very thing, and then of course we'll run the Iowa race at the end of the video. But the reason I find things to be so interesting right now is we're finally getting to a point where we have enough money to make some more upgrades to our team, but we're fast approaching the part of the season where we're going to have to start saving money in order to run the Xfinity Series next year if we're going to create our own team. So are we going to be able to run for a championship? Are we going to be able to qualify for the playoffs at all? There's a lot of things going on to the point that I'm really starting to think that this is where I want to start the season for our series in future years as we move through Xfinity and Cup, almost like we're pulling a Ross Chastain and sort of giving everybody a big points head start, and then we have to come in for half a year or so and try to make that deficit up, plus get a victory, qualify for the playoffs, and all that sort of thing. So maybe that's what we decide to do, because right now you can see in the top right-hand corner, we have 308, almost 309,000. Also in the bottom left-hand corner, you notice that our incentive contract required 2 top 20s, which we have already done, and we will finish up the 5th race at Iowa. So regardless of what we do at Iowa, we're going to get $4,800 more dollars. So right now, we are not in the playoffs. We are sitting 23rd in the point standings, which is certainly not going to get it done. So we're going to need, in all likelihood, a victory or a lot of top 5, top 10 finishes in a row in order to finish this up with a playoff run. So that part gets me really excited. So what I want to do now is let's come in under the work plan and let's decide exactly what we're going to do here. We've got some options. $313,000. We've got some options. We could go up to 100 on the engine. That would take 270. But of course, it's not just the upgrade we need to make to the department. We also need to train employees, which as you get closer and closer to their maximum level, it gets more and more expensive. So we'll have to keep that in mind as well. If we come over to aero or suspension, going from 90 to 95 is $135,000. So what I think we're going to get the most bang for our buck doing is coming in under suspension and doing $135,000 there. Let's then back out. So let's go ahead and purchase this. All right, there we go. Now we're at 95, 90, and 95 on our department maximums. And let's come over and do a little training. Let's train on suspension. So let's find our suspension guys. And so at 95, let's go ahead. Let's see. Okay, that's only $24,000 roughly to get us up to a 10 there. So I'm good with that. Let's go ahead and do that. Get that finalized. Let's find our other suspension. Okay, there he is. Get him up to a 10 as well. All right, so far so good. Now let's go back to upgrade departments, and $135,000 will take us where we need to be for aero. Now, of course, we're not going to have any money left to do any training, but now we're at 95s across the board on our car, with the exception of our pit crew. So now I finally feel like we can start to make some increases on our pit crew, because we're at a point now where we're still the underdog, because we're not 100s across the board. We're not a 5-star team right now. We're more of the 4-star team variety, but I don't feel like we're 75s across the board on the pit crew anymore. So let's take a look at what it's going to cost us to make that happen. Remember, pit crew upgrades are much cheaper than the other upgrades for suspension, aero, and engine. All right, so right now, pit duration is 20 to 26 seconds for us. We can go up, oh wow, only $1,100 there. 33. Okay, so we can actually go up to 85 here and take about 3 seconds off our pit stops on average. So let's go ahead and purchase that. Very nice. Now, no individual employees to worry about here. So we've gotten a lot done with that amount of money. But remember, if we come over to future plans, looking on the right-hand side of the screen, The cost to start our own Xfinity team is $290,000. So are we going to be able to do that between now and the end of the season? Well, probably, but are we also going to be able to do any further upgrades to the truck? And for that, I'm thinking the answer is probably no. So we may need to run another truck season if we're really interested in winning the championship. All right, let's come back over to current event. Now we need to get busy on this work plan and get our truck set up for Iowa. So we're going to come over to short track. And let's go ahead and do this. You can see we're not going to quite make it to our maximum of 95 on both of these. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that I've been automatically running some of these races. I've been simulating them rather than running them on my own. And we don't get nice bonuses to our car repairs when we do it that way. All right, so we got a bunch of speedways coming up next. We're going to go to Gateway, Chicago, Kentucky, and Pocono. Really doesn't look like it matters which one of these we use. They're both the same strength right now, so we'll just go ahead and use bay number 1. All right, that has everybody assigned. You can see unassigned employees. There are none left. So here's what we've got. Short track chassis 95, 93, and 94. Let's go ahead and start that work. And we're all set. That is not quite where we need to be, but I still feel like we should have a pretty good car as we head into Iowa. So let's select our truck for the race. Short track chassis, bay number 3. And we've selected our car. Now it's time to head to the track. All right, folks, it is race time here at Iowa. We're going to be running a 25% race against maximum difficulty AI, which I think is called Legend or Legendary, something like that in the game. And we're going to be using some pretty heavily accelerated tire wear, so it's going to make this thing a handful. Tires are going to be the key. Do we have enough speed to maintain our qualifying position on track, or are we going to fall back? How are the AI going to do against us? Are their tires going to fall off more or less than ours? So all of those things we're about to find out. I'm going to try to get to the bottom. Oh, look at it. Look at everybody fan out. That is awesome when you see that, because that certainly is what happens in real life at Iowa. And it's very nice to see it in the game.
Got a car coming inside now. Stay high up here. Car there on the inside.
Oh, wow. These guys running 3 wide in front of us. Not sure we want to be a part of that.
Car there on the inside.
Particularly not whenever you're trying to save tires.
Still there inside.
All right, so we're falling back some early, which is not terribly surprising to me. I tried to get the setup fairly tight, as I usually do for these career mode races. But we'll see over the long run what happens. The truck is definitely going to loosen up some. We'll just have to see how much, and is the speed still enough. All right, so right now we have really good drive off. But of course, because we're using greatly accelerated tire wear, wow, that's a nice dive bomb into the corner to get underneath us. He really drove that thing into the corner. But yeah, 4 laps is not really like 4 laps because of the accelerated wear. All right, so once again, we're stuck on the outside, and I definitely want to be on the bottom. The top can work, no doubt, but I haven't spent very much time up there, so I don't have any rhythm running the middle or the top. Thought I was going to be able to get to the bottom there. No such luck. And having to get out of the gas on the straight because we're kind of stuck
Stay high up here.
behind, I believe that was Clay Greenfield. Oh, look out, Lassard.
Still there.
Good move on his part to break our momentum. So far, so good on the handling of the truck. Speed doesn't seem to be too bad. I mean, we're hanging in there. We've lost a little bit since the start, but overall, not too bad.
Still there.
Had no idea what Lassard was going to do right there. He came down, then he stopped sort of in the middle of the track.
Hold your line. Got one inside.
Okay, how is he to our inside? There is no room down there.
One outside. 5 to go, driver.
So if you remember from years past, the AI have some magical grip at Iowa. They can run any groove they want. They don't have to worry about their angles into and off the corner. They maintain max speed regardless. And that's kind of what we have already seen. These guys will dive bomb and serve no penalty for doing so.
Still there. Got one down low now. Stay high up there.
All right, so it looks like we're going to have to spend quite a bit of time out here on the outside. It's just the way things are working out in the flow of the race right now.
Still there.
But like I said, for this track in particular, it's not a death sentence.
Stay high up here. Careful. Still there.
Still trying to be easy on those tires.
Stay high up there.
We'll see what kind of tire wear we're getting when we get to the green and white to end stage 1.
Inside.
But we're probably going to want to change tires, I would imagine. Because these tires have already lost some grip, for sure.
Bring it home. Careful. Still there. All clear.
Really loose there on corner entry, trying to get down under him. All right, so we're going to finish off stage number 1. Not too bad. 13th position. We'll take it. All right, let's see what kind of tire wear we've got and whether or not we're pitting, everybody else is pitting, and so on. All right, tire wear. We're wearing out the right rear, which is not terribly surprising. Let's go ahead and pit. And I'm going to try a few things here. Let's go ahead and I'm going to add just a little bit of wedge. And I'm going to add just a little bit of air in the left rear. We'll accept that. And let's make our pit stop. Now, obviously, that sends us to the back of the field, but not terribly worried about that.
We're going green. Be ready. Ready.
This is all about having fun and trying some things out. So adding the wedge as well as adding some air in the left rear should stabilize the car some on corner exit over the long run. Now in the short run, it's going to make things tighter.
Stand the bottom here.
But we're going to have to be very particular how we get through traffic here,
You're clear.
because I don't know if any of these guys stop for tires. Plus, we've already shown that we have enough speed to be in the top 15 or so.
You're clear.
Oh, there we go, Massey. Come on, Massey, get it together.
Still there. All right. You're clear there.
All right, should we take it 4 wide? Of course we should. All right, backing off really early on corner entry because we are not AI. We don't have max grip.
You got room. You're clear there. Careful. Still there. You're all clear up top there.
All right, truck is handling quite nicely when compared to the trucks we're racing around. You can see we're already back to where we were before the pit stops. So we have overcome in 4 laps the penalty of making a pit stop when no one else did. That's how much tires are worth whenever you're using greatly accelerated tire wear. Now, had we been using sort of the minimums on tire wear, then pitting right there would not have been a good idea, because you don't lose a lot of speed and the tires won't wear near as much. But I prefer the tire wear being maxed out at several tracks, not necessarily every one of them. The super speedways in specific, that they are not places where I generally want to run a lot of tire wear because they're about speed and the draft. But all right, we are up to 8th position, and right now I am really happy about our decision to pit. And I'm sure the AI are not happy about their decision not to. Oh, look out. I think that's the 99 or 98 truck coming up behind us. Had a great run on us. Thankfully decided to back out of that, because that was probably going to be trouble if he had not. All right, how can we be in the top 5? That seems unreal that we're in the top 5. Tires, tires, and tires. So using just a little bit of brake on corner entry, just a little, just enough to settle the car down a little bit, particularly under old tires. All right, if we play our cards right, the way we're gaining on this guy, we might be in the lead at the end of stage number 2. And then we'll put it in the hands of our pit crew for stage 3. But I am much happier with the truck now than I was at the end of stage 1. All right, so coming to the white flag here in stage 2. Can we get by him and get the stage win? We would certainly like to. All right, I'm going to try to get a run on him. Let's see if he's going to let us have the bottom. No, he did not. All right, I didn't want to press my luck too much there. We were already set up for some good points here in the stage. Didn't want to do anything crazy there. So we'll come home second in stage number 2. How many of you thought that's where we were going to end up after we pitted and no one else did? All right, so once again, we are going to pit. You can see the tires, the right rear is still wearing a good bit more than the right front. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go up a good bit here. We're just going to go up another full percent and just test it out and see what happens. All right, let's go ahead and advance. Okay, we lost 5 spots. Not terrible. Certainly could have been a lot worse. Now we're going to be on equal tires with those we're racing around, and we're starting inside the top 10. So So far, so good. Truck should once again be tighter, particularly early on in the run. And then should be much better at the end of the run. But again, that's why you test things out and see exactly what you've got. Boy, these guys sure do use their new tires when they get them. Wow. So right now, I'm basically just letting them go. I'm driving the truck as hard as I feel like I can drive it. Oh, we are really tight right now. All right, we'll see how the car loosens up over the course of the run and whether or not we're able to reel these guys back in. But right now we are definitely really tight, which is kind of what you expect whenever you make the adjustments we've made so far in the race. All right, how many laps left? 14. Plenty of time. All right, we got a little bit of open track here. This is just an awesome track. Cannot wait for the Cup cars because I feel like they're eventually going to be at Iowa within the next few years. I just can't imagine that doesn't happen. And I think it's going to put on some great racing. All right, coming to 12 to go. So we've got ourselves a nice little cushion to those behind us, but of course we know that can evaporate in a hurry. We've seen that happen in previous races. A nice cushion can evaporate in one bad corner. So right now with 10 laps to go, we're sitting here just outside the top 10. Running inside the top 15 and feeling pretty good about it. The adjustments that I made, we knew it was a crapshoot. May work to improve the truck, may not. So far it definitely has not. But we're not done yet. We still got 9 more laps to go. We'll see if this truck loosens up. We may have jumped over to the other side to where we've just got it tight and it's just going to stay tight. Those are the tweaks that you try to make during a race, and you try to learn from what works for you and what doesn't. All right, we got a truck inside. Trying to give him some room. Because again, we need a good points day if we're going to start our march toward the playoffs and make ourselves playoff eligible.
Careful, still there. Still there. Got a car coming inside now.
Nice little love tap from behind there. That was somebody. That might have been Lassard telling me it was time to go or move. His preference would be move. Got another one right there. Oh, okay. I guess that's what we'll do. So he moved us out of the way. That is extremely realistic. All right, so with 5 to go, we've lost obviously some positions since we went back green, and I think we can now safely say that those adjustments did not help overall. Just got us too tight. So the first little bit that we did definitely helped the truck on the long run, but this ended up being too much, and it's not horribly surprising. All right, trying to finish off this pass on the 44. Looks like we're going to be able to do that. But nope, he's going to fight back. So he decided he wasn't ready to give that spot up. Oh, he's going to go way high in 3 and 4. That's going to give us a chance as we come into the final lap of the race. Oh, couldn't quite clear him. Oh, look at that run he got on the outside. Couldn't quite hold on to it, so we'll come home 15th, which is not too bad. We had a really good stage 2 when we had tires and no one else did, but overall, we ended up about where we started the race. So we kept the speed. All right, so 15th position. Certainly better than the 20s that we've been finishing here lately. Let's see how much our total payout is. $24,310. This is one of the lower paying races on the calendar. A lot of the shorter tracks are. So that's actually a pretty good payday, all things being considered. Can't wait for that merch payout to get much higher. Hopefully it gets much higher for us in the future, because that's where a ton of our money will come from ultimately. 21st position in points, so obviously where we are right now, we got a lot of spots to make up before we have any hope of making the playoffs, but that's the challenge and that's the fun of playing the career mode this way. So we'll go ahead and move through these screens and get back. I really want to hear the Twitter feedback. We had some contact, but quite frankly, a lot of that was generated by the AI with some dive bombing and things like that. So be interesting to see what happens with that. All right, we'll go ahead and finish this off and see what kind of feedback we get. All right, so that's going to give us a little bit more money. Maybe we can do a little bit more training with that to make our cars better. So smooth driving, huge savings. Oh, we'll definitely take that. Very nice. 78, 77, and 78. All right, so the system thought that we had smooth driving, so let's see what Twitter has to say about that. All right, incentive contract completed. We talked about that before the race. An extra $4,800. Thank you very much, Nationwide. All right, we will not be watching the video message from Clay Greenfield. We'll skip by that. So no Twitter feedback. How about that? We're used to getting quite a bit of Twitter feedback for the most part in career, but not today. So let's see what is next on the agenda. Looks like we're going to WWT Raceway, which is a lot of fun. That is going to be a great race. If you're not familiar with that name, that's Gateway. That's what we're looking at. And then Chicago and Kentucky. So we'll get back on some speedways. What do we want out of the next 3 races? Do we want top 20s, top 10s, top 5s? I think we need to go... can we get top 10s? I feel like we can. It's not going to be a huge amount of money regardless. And I certainly don't feel like we're anywhere close to top 5s. Not without some interesting strategy working out in our favor. So top 10s is going to push us. I'm not sure we have the speed to do that, but that's what we're going to go with. So that'll do it for today. Thank you very much for joining me. And stay tuned as we will continue our career mode series of NASCAR Heat 4.